Formerly the mightiest ruler globally, Marcus Aurelius tried to live a good life by following Stoic principles. Unlike other Roman emperors, he didn't enjoy the various luxuries available, such as getting too much wine or watching violent games in Colosseum. Marcus Aurelius was focused on his duty assigned by fate, which was to serve humanity. He was really committed to fulfilling this purpose. However, to achieve it, he had to stop caring too much about things that aren't important or wise to care about. And there are a lot of those things. In Stoicism, there's a big idea about what we can control and what we can't. This is explained well in Epictetus and Caridian. Most of the time, the things that happen aren't in our hands. So, should we just give up on everything? Not really. But the Stoics thought we should be real about how much we can change about those things. If we're not, we end up carrying around a lot of extra weight. When life gets tough, it's usually because we care too much about things we can't change. And when we do that, those things start to control us like puppet masters. And we blame them for controlling us, but really, it's because we let them. But if we stop caring so much about them, they lose their power over us, and we can find peace. Marcus Aurelius found peace by not letting things he couldn't control bother him. This helped him deal with his duties as an emperor and focus on what he believed was his divine purpose. Epictetus saw it as being free. Some people see it as a way to concentrate on important goals. And for others, it's just a path to a happy, worry-free life. When life gets tough, what should we stop worrying about? And how can we do it? This video looks at Marcus Aurelius' ideas on caring less about things that don't really matter. In his meditations, Marcus Aurelius talks a lot about the present, past, and future. He thinks about how we worry too much about them or worry about the wrong things. This book is split into these parts, starting with the future. When it comes to thinking about what might happen next, Marcus Aurelius agrees with Seneca. Seneca said that we often suffer more in our minds than in real life. This means our thoughts can make us feel really bad. When we think about the future, we often imagine all sorts of things that might happen, even though they probably won't. We get anxious because we don't know what's going to happen next, and we try to plan for every possibility. Sometimes things happen just as we expect them to. But other times, life throws us surprises that we never saw coming. These surprises can be really big, like when we work hard for retirement and then find out we're sick and might not have much time left to enjoy it. Thinking about these possibilities can make us really anxious. We worry about the good things that could happen, but also about the bad things, like what if there's a big war or if we lose all our money. These scary thoughts are totally possible, but they haven't happened yet. Right now, they're just ideas in our heads. We only stress about the future because we keep thinking about it, even though it's not real yet. Marcus Aurelius said that what really weighs on us is not what might happen in the future, but how we handle things right now. The bad feelings we have about what's to come actually happen in the present. It's like the future is already here when we worry about it. When we worry too much about what's ahead, it starts to make our life painful because we're letting those worries control how we feel right now. So, what does Marcus Aurelius advise about worrying too much about the future? Well, he suggests this. Don't let the future bother you. If you have to deal with it, use the same logic and understanding that you use to face the present. He said to himself, if I can deal with what's happening now, I can handle whatever comes next. Instead of imagining all the bad things that might happen, he decided to focus on what was happening right now. When he concentrated on the present moment, he realized he could handle it. So why wouldn't he be able to handle whatever comes in the future? This mindset is like the idea of amorphity, which means loving your fate, but with the added belief that we'll be okay no matter what. Marcus Aurelius reminded himself how quickly life passes by and disappears into the vast unknown, just like the future. We can't do anything about the past. What's done is done, and unless we invent a time machine, we can't change it. Marcus Aurelius once said something very interesting. He talked about how humans only truly exist in the here and now, in this very moment we're living in. Everything else, all our past experiences or whatever might happen in the future, isn't where we are. It's like our lives are confined to this tiny space of time and place. Even though our lives are pretty limited to this moment, we tend to spend a lot of time worrying about things that are aside of it. Like what might happen tomorrow or what already happened yesterday. Marcus Aurelius mentioned that the past doesn't really matter anymore and doesn't affect us much right now. It's not that the things that happened before don't matter at all. Of course, we can learn from them. It's just that we can't change anything about them. They're like a closed book that can't reopen. And sometimes even our memories of the past are kind of messy. It's hard to know exactly what really happened. We all see things from our own perspective, which might not always be completely accurate. So not only can we not change the past, but our memories of it might not be very reliable either. Yet we spend a lot of time thinking about past events, going over them again and again, even though they might have hurt us. Some people think that if we dwell on the past, we can somehow control it. But that's not true. The past is over. All we're really trying to control are our thoughts about things that have already happened and can't be changed. Many people say, I wish I had done things differently. But that's just wishing for something impossible. Thinking like that only leads to unfulfilled desires. Marcus Aurelius, instead of dwelling on past events themselves, focus on how he reacted to them. We can't change what's already happened, and most of the time, we couldn't have stopped it when it was happening. But we can control how we respond to those events. At first, we might see the past as unfortunate. Maybe we had a tough childhood, lost friends, or failed in business. But according to Marcus Aurelius, what matters isn't the nature of those events, but how we deal with them. He said, it's unlucky that this happened. No, actually, it's lucky that this happened and I'm still okay, not broken by the present or scared of the future. It could have happened to anyone, but not everyone could have come through it, okay? Why do we see one thing as bad luck and another as good luck? Is it fair to call something unlucky if it's against how humans naturally behave? Or does it only count as unlucky if it goes against nature's plan? But you know what nature wants? Does whatever happens stop you from being fair, kind, in control of yourself, rational, wise, truthful, humble, honest, and all those other good things that let you be yourself? Marcus Aurelius, interestingly, doesn't completely dismiss the past. He thought we could learn from it by seeing its patterns, how things repeat, so we can predict the future. He also often talks about the importance of the present moment. It's all we really have. It's like a small field we can't explore. From here, we can look back at the past and forward to the future, but we can't really see how much beyond this moment. Marcus Aurelius told himself to focus on what he could control right now. Even when we stop worrying about the past and future, we might still care too much about things that don't really matter. The things happening right now, we often aren't happy with how things are going in this moment. And when things don't go our way, we tend to feel angry, sad, or down. Marcus Aurelius believed that getting upset about what happens in life is pointless. The world does what it does, and we can't control that. But what we can control is how we react to it. Yet we often get upset because things aren't going the way we want. Marcus Aurelius said we shouldn't fight against what we can't change. He compared it to pigs struggling when they're sacrificed. It's useless because we can't change what fate has planned. We can't stop wars, natural disasters, or aging. Similarly, we can't force the world to give us what we want or make everyone like us. It's just not possible. Still, we spend a lot of time and energy resisting what is and what we can't change. We get angry when things don't go our way and sad when bad things happen. This makes every moment feel like torture. Or we cling tightly to the present because we're afraid to lose what we have. But Marcus Aurelius believed we're missing the point. Instead of being so caught up in what's happening around us, we should focus on what we can control. Our choices, actions, and opinions. Marcus Aurelius saw nature's law as our master. If we fight against it or get upset about it, we're like deserters. Instead, we should accept nature's ways, embrace them, and focus on dealing with them. Marcus Aurelius suggested a way to do this in his book, Meditations. He said we should focus on what we have, not what we lack. But we should also be careful not to become too attached to what we have. However, accepting our circumstances can be hard, especially when life is tough. But according to Marcus Aurelius, tough times are opportunities to practice virtue and apply Stoic philosophy to our lives. Living well isn't about having amazing circumstances. It's about how we deal with whatever life throws at us. As Marcus Aurelius said, the present is a chance to practice rational virtue, to treat whatever happens as natural and easily handled. Thanks for listening.